Alright, so today class, we are doing a linguistic quickie with Rocco. We're going to be answering the burning question of the day. If tamale, then why not female? Now, at first glance, you might be thinking, all English words are loan words, right? So what gives? You would think after so many hundreds of years that words of a similar origin would end up sounding similar. Things tend to not be pronounced correctly from their original language anyway. And you might also be thinking, if tamale comes from a romantic origin like Spanish, and female could have origins of the romantic distinction, then why don't they sound the same? Why are they pronounced so differently? Well, let's get into the female word origin. Now, when I looked at this word, I did figure it was a loan word, which is why I was thinking, well, if they both have romantic backgrounds, maybe they should sound the same. This is a question that's been bugging me all day, hence this video. So I started looking into it. Female and male do not have the same word origin. And when you get into why female is spelt like it could be pronounced female, you realize why it's not pronounced like that. So female, let's go all the way back to Latin. It starts from the femella, which is a Latin diminutive of femina. From there it went to femella, medieval Latin, which I think it's pronounced the same way. And from there French took it as a loan word for themselves. And it was probably pronounced something like femelle, where the E was still pronounced. It was not necessarily always silent, as far as I can tell. Obviously, with more Middle and New French, that last E would not be pronounced. It would be femelle, more like the Middle English femelle. And the female word that we use today is actually a Middle English alternative spelling. So a lot of times in Middle English, female or femelle was spelt F-E-M-E-L-E or F-E-M-E-L-L-E, like Old French. And eventually it took on the spelling F-E-M-A-L-E, giving us that more modern English female. The earliest known use of the word female is within the Middle English period. We don't know the exact date. It's estimated like around the 1300s to be more precise, but it could be as early as 1150. I don't think it was as late as 1500, but that's the estimate, like a concrete answer at least. So why is it spelt female, like female? It's because the word male actually influenced how it was spelt, as previously mentioned. So the word male actually is more closely related to Mari or Marium, otherwise known as Mary in English, like to marry someone. And that is associated with the word mas, which comes from masculus, which Old French adopted into the male or masle word. So that's where Old English adopted this word from Old French, male or masle, around the same time that they adopted the word femelle. And because this word with a different origin was adopted from French around the same time, people started to spell it the same way as male, even though originally female was femelle or femelle, like with two E's. So that's actually why it started being spelt like that. Tamale origin. So now we get the party started with some good food. So what is the actual origin of tamale? I hadn't really deeply thought about the difference of the Spanish loanword tamale and what its actual origin was and how you pronounce the origin word. But as many people already know, tamales are from like the Aztec culture. They were the ones that started making this food, and when Spanish conquistadors colonized the area, they kind of adopted that food, and that's why it's so associated with Mexico today. But the original word tamale was not tamale. or tamales. It comes from the Nahuatl tamale. So actually, the origin for tamales kind of sounds like how a lot of American English speakers would naturally pronounce it. Like my dad, for instance, would pronounce it tamale. And that's actually closer to the original pronunciation, very accidentally, but it is tamale. And then the Spanish kind of bastardized it into Spanish words and gave it a Spanish pronunciation. The singular word is tamal, and the plural of that is tamales. But in English, we kind of adopted the bastardization of tamale, the Nahuatl word, and added that E that wasn't supposed to be there unless it was for a plural tamales. So it really, the singular should just be tamal. But it's a bastardization of a bastardization, and that's how we got the word in English, tamale, even though it really should just be cut short and it would less resemble the word female, and perhaps that confusion wouldn't be there. But basically, it is English misspelling words from other cultures that misspelled the original words of the culture that they took that word from. And that is how we arrived at these two English words, tamale and female. And that is why we do not pronounce female female, because one came from Nahuatl and one came from Old French, which came from Latin. So one is Romantic and one is Aztec. I hope that answers your question. If you have any more, do not text me. This took too long and I don't feel like writing another essay or video essay today, so do not contact me. All right, I hope you have a good day and see you next time.